want to start off by saying a massive thank you for all the views over the last few days. It's been absolutely brilliant. We always worry a little bit, bearing in mind we've decided to make this our job, whether when the season ends we're going to continue getting views and stuff like that. Thank you so much. I'm sorry about the adverts. I know they're a pain in the bum, but I really do appreciate you suffering. They literally do pay the rent in this house. So, and Gio's, of course, as well. So thank you very much indeed. Also want to say thank you for all the comments, all the interactions. Got to the end of the season, everyone was saying, thanks for the content, and we've enjoyed the uploads and all the rest of it. You're really welcome. We love doing it. It's brilliant. So thank you very much indeed. Right, we'll just get on to the subject at hand, which is the link with James Ward Prowse. I'm sure you've read lots about it. You've heard it discussed lots of times. I've not had my say on it, so I'm going to do so right now. The angle I think I'm coming from on this is that I've heard from a few people that that maybe we're setting our sights too high. Why would Southampton sell? I've heard that from a few people. For me, this is exactly the type of player we should be going for. This one is a favourite of Gio's. You know this. I know Gio mentioned in his video yesterday that possibly this is somebody we should have gone and got a couple of seasons ago. I'll tell you now, a couple of seasons ago we weren't in this position. A couple of seasons ago we were fighting relegation. A couple of seasons ago there was no reason to leave Southampton and join West Ham. Now there is. Now there's a disparity and a distance between the clubs. And I'll tell you something. Southampton have a recent history of selling their best players. So I think it's exactly the type of player we should be going for. And when I say exactly the type of player, what I mean is somebody that is a club that's lower down in the league than West Ham, but is an exceptional player. Ward Prowse just been selected for the England squad alongside Jarrod Bowen. Well done, Jarrod Bowen, by the way. Exactly right. He's probably not going to be good enough to play for Manchester City. Well, he isn't. But for West Ham, and I'll get to his attributes in just a second, he is absolutely the right guy to target. We should be able to pay higher wages than Southampton because our turnover is better, bigger, should I say, and we're higher than them in the league. Basically, Ward Prowse is more likely to retain his place in the England squad if he goes to West Ham, because he's around that cut line, isn't he? Basically, whenever they trim the squad down to sort of 23 players for a tournament, he goes, they let him go along with a couple of others. What's he going to do to get in there and be sort of a mainstay and part of Gareth Southgate's thinking? Was also why I believe that someone like Calvin Phillips is also the perfect guy that we should go for all the reasons that I've just given. I just thought the problem with the Calvin Phillips signing before was timing. As I've mentioned in previous videos, why would a team that was in the midst of a relegation battle sell their best player? They're just not likely to. Now, it's totally different. Now, as I understand it, that ship has sailed. I'm talking about Calvin Phillips here. Apparently Aston Villa are sniffing around, and the rumour I read yesterday, but actually I've heard it from two different people in 2 days in a row, is that he's signed for Steven Gerrard's agent. Well, sometimes you put 2 and 2 together and you come up with 4, don't you? So, maybe that ship's sailed, but actually the tactic of targeting those players, I think, is really, really good. And the whole league is littered with them. If you just start looking now at teams down the league, and I'll need my glasses to do so, obviously Norwich, Watford and Burnley have gone down. But Leeds United, we've just covered them. Even Everton. Now, Everton are in a funny situation at the moment because they're going to have to sell a lot of players. They've overspent. They've overspent so much that they've been reported to the league for breach of financial fair play. I'm not going to go into all that again. You all know what I think about financial fair play, right? The rights and the wrongs of it. However, and by the way, just so as you do know, I think if Everton are not going to jeopardise their safety, or when I say their safety, if they're not going to jeopardise the future of their club, and the money's not actually coming out of Everton's coffers, they've just got a really rich owner and he's going to pay it out of his pocket. Why shouldn't they buy a few extra players? Let's be honest, they're crap at it anyway. They keep on buying the wrong players. My point is, though, they probably do have to sell. Why shouldn't we go and cherry pick and think, oh, I like him, I like him, I like him, whatever the case may be. Richarlison gets mentioned an awful lot. That's a great idea. Well, it's not a great idea. I don't like him. I wouldn't sign him. But that type of player, yes. At Everton, it's a step up for him to come to West Ham. Sorry, Everton fans, at the moment, it just is. And, well, he's, as I say, he's an international. He's got an awful lot going for him, and he would be a good player in our team from an ability standpoint, at least. Unfortunately, I think he's a little bit of a moody one. I think he's a bit grumpy. I'm not sure we particularly need his strops going on all the time. But you get what I'm saying. That type of player is exactly what we should be going for. And I'm not going to stop there, by the way. There's a few other players at other clubs who I think we should go and think, do you know what? Let's have a cheeky bid. If we've got the money, if Kretinsky has honestly, and I'm dubious, I don't know, but if he honestly has armed David Moyes with a war chest where David Moyes can go out and start trying to buy players for 50, 60 million quid, I've got a few other names that I'd like to chuck at you. Before I do, I'd like to just remind you that this video is sponsored by the One Football app, which you can download by clicking that link that's under the screen. Just there, if you're watching this on a mobile phone, click the little arrow down, it'll expand. There's a body of text. On there's a link. Click the link and it will automatically give you a set of instructions so you can download the One Football app to your phone. Puts all the West Ham news into one place because when you sign up for this free app, it asks who you support and what your national team is. So for me, I only get West Ham and England news, fixtures, transfer rumours, injury news, results, everything you need to know. Your one-stop football shop, the One Football app. Now, just been saying about the players. Aston Villa have also got quite a lot of money. Now, they've got a lot of money to spend. Also, they were able to balance the books with 100 million for Jack Grealish that they got in. So, their net spend is not as high as someone like Everton's, for instance. They can still go and buy, but apparently, they're look at what they're trying to do. They're trying to bring in some freebies. They might be trying to get Tarkowski. They got, what's his name the other day, whose name I'm not going to pronounce. It's a bit like boobs and it's a bit like car. Is it Boubacar? Have I got that right? That sounds like that's my kind of car, I've got to tell you. Anyway, I've probably got that right. Might be Babacar. I've probably completely stalked his name. Anyway, Aston Villa are a buying club. That being said, they've got a player there I wouldn't mind having a cheeky bid for. And his name is Buendia. I've definitely said that one right. Yes, Buendia. This is the player that I would get. I said in yesterday's video, I've got no problem with Jesse Lingard coming in. No problem us chasing him. Is Jesse Lingard better than some of the players in our squad? Yes. I tell you what, that's reason enough to get him. But Buendia, I really like. I think they're missing a trick there. Buendia's been a victim of Coutinho coming in. And Coutinho is brilliant. But Buendia, he was so good. You remember I said yesterday that some players can make the difference. I said Eriksen made the difference to Brentford. And I said if we'd have had Jesse Lingard for the second half of last season, then he would have made a difference. We probably would have finished sixth. We would have turned a semi-final into a final. I think if Buendia had played for Norwich all season, they may well have been in with a shout of staying up in the last part of the season. It's a tough one because you're basically saying, is Buendia worth an additional 13 points? It's hard to say, but they'd have been in with a shout. I really rate him highly. I think he's an excellent player. Is he a Moyes type player? I don't know. But I really like him. Why not? Why not bid for Buendia? We move up a little bit. Brentford. Why not bid for Brentford players? And everyone says, you left it too late to get Tony. Absolute nonsense. And Rico Henry, nonsense. Why shouldn't we be able to go and get these players? Because I don't care however well Brentford have done, there's no way Brentford can start offering their players over 100 grand a week. West Ham can. We might not like it. It might be unpalatable. We might think, we'd rather not do that. But actually, we've been doing it for a long, long time. Years ago, we were paying Andy Carroll 90 grand a week. Played Chicharito 145 grand a week. I mean, we're going to get some wages off the books. What's Yarmolenko on 70 grand a week? Fredericks 50 grand a week. We can afford players that other players can't in terms of their wages. As you get higher up the table, and I've not finished, by the way, look at Crystal Palace. Now, Crystal Palace have just had recent investment, which is going to be hard. It's going to be easier for them to say no. They've got some rich people as part of their consortia. But if you fancied Mitchell, maybe, have a go. Have a bid. Maybe he might say he wants to join. I think it's hard. I think probably a lot of those Crystal Palace players have probably bought into what Patrick Vieira's doing. But I tell you what, if you're on 30 grand a week and someone's offering you 100 grand a week, that goes an awful long way to changing your mind, regardless of how good you think the project might be at Selhurst Park. Newcastle, no point. You're not getting anyone off Newcastle. That being said, look, there's one or two players there. If you watch this, our previews, and you've done so regularly enough for the last few seasons, you'll know there's a couple of players at Newcastle. I certainly wouldn't mind. Wolves, go and get Neves. Go and get Neves. I know what you're saying. You can't get Neves. They wouldn't sell Neves. Why? We can pay more wages than Wolves. And let's be perfectly honest here, right? Neves deserves to play European football. He deserves to be on that stage. He ain't playing it. Come to West Ham and play some European football. Last but not least, I will give you Brighton. What's his name? Lamptey. Never mind him. Cucurella. What about a bit of that? Why not go and get him? Anyone above that, anyone in the teams above, Leicester ain't selling anyone to West Ham, all right? Let's get that right. And everyone above, Man U, Arsenal, Tottenham, Chelsea, Liverpool, forget it. If you're getting one of those players, you're getting a cast-off, or they've run their contract down like Lingard. Well, to be fair, he's a bit of a cast-off for Man U as well, but he's still good enough for West Ham. My point being, you're not going to Tottenham and persuading them to sell us Bentancur, for instance, are you? No. But you start looking lower than us in the table, and I'll take Leicester out of it, who finished 8th. Why shouldn't we go and bid for any of those players? The more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm liking Cucurella at West Ham and Neves in midfield, actually. But you know what? It's not me that's choosing them. The other day, I've forgotten the guy's name. I've actually forgotten the guy's name. Oh, the defender. Agard. Oh my goodness, that wasn't even French, was it? That was more Borat. It was more Borat. Agard, yes, I like him. He's a nice player. I promise I'll never do that again. I said that Agard was a David Moyes type player because he played the ball over, released the ball early, played a long raking pass that would get the ball in behind an opposition's back line. Good for counter-attacking. These are my choices. So what I'm saying is, if David Moyes has chosen James Ward Prowse as the guy that he thinks fits his tactics, much like Engeld, then, sorry, it's annoying, isn't it? I've just promised I'd never do that again, and I did it again. I will never do a Borat voice on a video again, unless 20 people ask. I'm not. There might be one person that asks. Anyway. What am I talking about? James Ward Prowse. He's the man for the set pieces. I mean, we love set pieces. We've got a set piece expert coach. A set piece expert for us and for England. Paul Nevin. He does the stuff. Apparently Kevin Nolan helps out with that as well. Give him some credit. About Stuart Pearce, by the way. There's so much to talk about. If we're going to do that, let's have an expert set-piece taker. It'll be the best set-piece taker. I think he's the guy that's comparable to Payet. Let's get him in. I have stumbled across one problem, though. Picture this, if you will. We've got a free kick, all right? It's sort of near the corner flag. We've signed James Ward Prowse for 63.5 million from Southampton. Ward Prowse lines up to take the free kick. The Dawsonator's in there, possibly. Or Agard is in there. Zuma's in there, right? Mickey Antonio, he's backing into the keeper. All right, he's backing into the keeper. Ward Prowse curls the ball over. Oh, it's a beautiful shape on this. And he's running in. And right on the end of it, comes steaming in. It's Thomas Souček! Damn it, we sold him.